crosses the line. Lando Norris is on pole for the first time in his Formula One career, unless someone can deny him. Fernando Alonso is out there. He's trying his hardest. Lewis Hamilton stopped on the track. George Russell goes third fastest.
Yes! Yes! Lando's first pole! Ferrari P2! Yes! And this is in the paddock F1. Greeny and the cheese. That was David Croft's call on Sky Sports, courtesy of Formula1.com. We are on the banks of the Black Sea, friends, in Sochi, Russia, host of the 2014 Winter Olympics, as most of you remember, to its tea plantations. Yes, Michael, tea plantations. Did you know that, sir? Since 1901. Apparently, it's got a very unique flavor. This tea I must try. To the forest in the area, the Caucasus Mountains, the beaches. But this is no travel show or food show about tea or anything. No, we're racing at the Sochi Autodrome. And as I just said, Lando's on pole. We're medicated. We're caffeinated. Greeny, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Cheese. How are you? Yeah, I bet you couldn't pronounce a single one of those forests or rivers that are famous along the. So I guess you did the right thing and did not go ahead and pronounce those. Vitalia Diachenko, the famous tennis player, is from Sochi. That's all I got from Sochi. I'm sure there's some other folks as well. I know there's some other folks.
Good job researching.
That's about all I got for you. But we're not here to talk about tennis. We're not here to talk about the beaches. We're here to talk about racing. And what a race it was. We had some engine issues with Max. We had some good news from the Ferraris, and we had some not so good news from the Ferraris today. So we're a little bit all over the map. We are all over the map as far as what our day's going to look like tomorrow and our top 10 look like and the board's going to look like. We got a Williams that snuck up in there. Can you imagine? Just think of it this, and before we begin and before I kick it back over to you, the man that's taking over for Valtteri Bottas's car beat his teammate today, straight up in a Williams. How are we feeling about that? How are we feeling about today's qualifying? And how are you feeling about tomorrow's race, Cheese?
Oh, man, qualifying was ridiculous. A little shot of maybe of the future here with the top three in quali today, with Lando getting his first pole. Props to Lando. That lap was sick. Sainz getting a P2. Ferrari. Yes, Ferrari P2. But it's definitely not the place you want to start in Russia. So that could be a little trouble tomorrow. Georgie Boy Russell throwing a P3 in a Williams. Get the hell out of town. And it wasn't just wet. They were on the softs when he threw this down. So that lap was insane. Lap by Georgie Boy. Sets up a very interesting race tomorrow. Lewis P4. So Max will start at the back because they didn't even care much about qualifying today since they're put a new engine in there and taking the grid penalty. So why bother risking it and putting the miles in the car? Makes sense. To do all you have to do during practice. Leclerc basically threw it in the jar too. Because they got the new engine. They're premiering the new Ferrari motor in Leclerc's car, so a little interesting to watch that over the weekend. But it sets up a lot of interesting things for tomorrow. A lot of very interesting things with that top three. That throws a lot of monkeys in the wrench.
Yeah, it throws a lot of I don't know if we're throwing monkeys, but it throws a lot of fun in the gambling aspect of things, which I'm excited about. Stick around next segment because we're going to throw down some greenie bucks. But until then, my friend, let's go racing. Starting line in Q1. Talk to me, Q1. What were your surprises? What were you excited about? And besides Max just bailing and not even running a lap.
No, he did like a sight lap, and then he turned back in. Don't risk anything. It was wet. Don't worry about it. You're starting at the back of the pack anyway with all the engine changes you did, so and the grid penalty. So why bother? I think it's probably a pretty smart call, especially with Russia being a track that you don't get the greatest grip at. That's why they probably brings these softest compounds here. But especially when it's wet, it gets very greasy and slick. So why risk it? Why risk something happening? Makes sense to me. And outside of that, both Williams getting out of Q1, and that was really it. Everything else was kind of as is with the people at the back. Giovinazzi gave you nothing today of excitement. Still, I guess his seat's still up in the air. So that was really it that I could really take out of that. I mean, the people at the back were pretty much at the back.
Yeah, Schumacher for the season, even though it's a footnote of the year, but beat out Mazepin in front of Mazepin's home crowd for the season, so he will have more finished ahead of him more times because broke past the halfway point, and Mick Schumacher probably going to be rookie of the year.
Well, that's not really a surprise, to be honest.
No,
Mazepin stinks. Mazepin stinks.
All right, moving on to Q2.
I would say Pierre Gasly. It's a big stinker this week. Absolute stinker from Pierre. He's been just throwing it down all year, and then this is a fried egg. It's like a fried egg in golf, man. You get that bunker, and the ball looks like a fried egg. Like, good luck getting out of there, pal. So that's just 12th. Like, Pierre hasn't been that far back since probably last year, to be honest.
Yeah,
and only and pretty much right on par. Like only what like a tenth or so in front of Yuki when he's been pretty much embarrassing Yuki all year. So that was a big surprise. And I guess my only other one would be like Seb missing out on Q3. What are you missing out by like 0.005 of a second?
Yeah. But Seb's gonna do that. You gotta, just like you miss a shot in hockey or in basketball by an inch. Same thing applies here. It's an inch. Lost by an inch. That's probably what like 0.005 of a second is going to cost you there. So, yeah, and that's where we stand. I mean, again, Gasly was really, 15 out of the last 17 races he hit Q3. Not today. 15 out of the last 18 after today. Still an impressive run, but not today. Still finishes ahead of Yuki, though. So, moving on to Q3, my friend. We already talked about Q3 a little bit here. Obviously, we talked about Lando from the offset and Carlos and Russell and Hamilton on the second row. What else surprised you here at Q3, my friend?
Let's go Perez 9th. Definitely not what Red Bull needed. Definitely not what Red Bull needed with Verstappen starting at the back of the grid. Red Bull definitely expected more from Perez. Definitely needed more from Perez to not lose out on possibility of losing out a bunch of constructors points. Bottas 7th. Trash. I mean, I thought the man would be freed up. He's got his ride for next year. He can just finish the year out. Multi-year deal with Alpha. Doesn't have anything worried about yearly deals or anything anymore. Just thought he'd be more freed up, and it's like he mailed it in.
Yeah, Valtteri. I mean, just what a crazy up and down year he's had. It's just really been unbelievable where he starts off really mediocre, as we talk about. He needed to win a race. He didn't win anything in the first 12 races. Barely showed. And then loses his ride and then comes out like a beast. And I guess now he's just sick and tired, and he's just done. That's a lot of energy what he gave up for the last couple months here. He really drove hard, and it was really impressive. And taking a step back, we'll see what happens in the race tomorrow. He might podium. Who knows? But we'll see. It's been pretty impressive, to be honest, from Valtteri Bottas since he's lost his ride. Not very impressive today in Sochi. We'll see what happens tomorrow. That's all I got to say about that.
That's all I got to say about that. Well, what else? Did you have any surprises, sir?
It's just a constant with me. It's constantly, whether it be winners or surprises, it's always Fernando Alonso. And finishing 6th, what a stud. Just really finishing unbelievable once again. He had a great time in Q2 and another really good time in Q3. I mean, he was even higher than that for a little bit. So Fernando Alonso, once again, coming through. Super impressive, as usual, as all this season. And
ageless wonder, my man.
Danny.
He's an ageless wonder.
Danny once again, I mean, Danny once again staying up there. 3rd row, where he should be. I think if you went back to earlier in the season when Danny was struggling, said nothing. 3rd row and better. He should be starting every single week. Him and Lando should be 3rd row and better. That's where they should be starting. No worse than 4th row. If you're starting in the 5th row, if you are Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari, or McLaren, you should be starting in the first 4 rows. And anyone else that sneaks in there is great. Obviously, today, we have the engine switch with Ferrari, with Leclerc and Max. But on a normal day, on a normal race, these are the teams that should be starting in the first 4 rows, and when it's not as disappointing. So it's great to see Danny back in there. Again, shocker seeing George beat Lewis. I mean, that is just you have to. If you follow the sport of Formula One, it really makes you shake your head that Lewis got out qualified by his future teammate. So not much more I can say about that. Not much more I can say about this week. All I can say is that coming up in only a few moments, we got Greenie Bucks. I'm going to make a comeback because we have some interesting trifectas this week, my friend. I can't imagine we both have the same trifecta.
Probably not. I would think not.
Probably not. I can't imagine we have the same winner. Maybe the same climber. We'll see what happens. Greenie and the Cheese in the Paddock F1. Back after this. What's up, everyone? Greenie from In the Paddock here. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Please let me explain. It's free. Okay, free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you for free, so it can be heard on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and many, many more. You can make money as well. Money with your podcast. No minimum listenership, and it's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app today or go to anchor.fm to get started. We are back. Sochi, Russia, Grand Prix 2021. Greenie the Cheese in the Paddock. You have come to the right spot if you want the best in this most smash mouth Formula One insight from a couple of Americans. That's right.
Couple of crazy stoners from the States.
That's absolutely correct. All right, man. So we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to discuss because we have a lot on the line. Because we're well past the halfway point of the season, and I got to make a comeback. So I think the trifecta this week has got to hit. has got to hit. We'll get to that in a minute. First, how you feeling about tomorrow?
It's going to be an interesting race. With the top three the way it is, Max will be charging from the back. Definitely going to be some pit strategy. Thinking it's probably going to be just the one stopper. Since tire wear isn't that much of an issue in Sochi, so it's going to be very interesting. Very interesting. Unfortunately, the Williams ain't going to finish third. No chance. Race pace just isn't there. But it's a lot of things are up in the air. A lot of things are in the air. Can Lewis make some moves? It's going to be very interesting. The start's going to be very, very interesting. See how it all breaks out.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the first lap is going to be very, very telling who can get out in front, and obviously pit situations. We're continuing to see some really, really, really difficult pit situations by all teams. I mean, after what we saw at Red Bull and the disaster that we had in at the Temple of Speed just 2 weeks ago was really, that was tough to watch. Very, very frustrating for race fans that are normal to seeing like 2-second pit stops, and then you got who knows what the heck happened. Can't get tires off. Guys are confused. Guys have no idea what's going on. It's like the Bush League, and it really shouldn't be. It should be a professionally well-polished machine, especially when you talk about Mercedes and Red Bull, Ferrari and McLaren, and not some kind of 12-second pit stop. So if we can avoid those, obviously those are big game changers. As we talked about earlier in the season, we don't want to see the pit playing a huge part in what happens at the end of the season, but it is playing a big part, and it's something we need to look at and something we need to make sure. And of course, safety. Nothing crazy this week. After reviewing the tape from Monza, it really, really looks to me as if it's a tough call on whose fault that Max Lewis crash was all about. It's tough. I know some people are very, very hard-lined either way. I've heard opinions both ways, that it was Max's fault, Lewis had position, or, it was just something that happens. But it was something that happened. We're going to move on. We got Max all the way in the back. And I will start there, my friend, because I think the biggest gainer is pretty easy.
On.
Pretty easy.
You got to announce it better than that.
Pretty easy. I'm going to slide into it.
This is Greeny Bucks. I am still Lord of Greentopia, still living on that high mountain, still smashing you in the face. Let's come on. You can't just overpass this. You can't go past this. This is what everybody tunes in for the Saturday night special.
All right. No, this is true. You
don't even give an opening. That was the lamest bring in the Greeny Bucks I've ever heard. We need to get the powder out early. A day early. You need to get it out and slap your own damn self in the face.
It's been a long day of sucker parties, so, thank you again, by the way.
Maybe you should have been smoking the peace pipe in your sukkah all day.
These things happen. All right. So, Greedy Bucks, let's reiterate where we're at.
Thank you.
Dollar for dollar. In second place is me. I have 580 Greeny Bucks. Not terrible. In first place is you with 1,060 Greeny Bucks. Just about double what I got. So
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, just about double.
All right. So now, since you were bringing in lamely till I had interrupted you because that opening for Greeny Bucks was absolute garbage and trash.
All right.
Take that.
All right. I'll take it to the bank.
Take that crap and kick it to the curb, please.
I'll take it to the bank.
So your biggest mover was going to be Max, if I'm not mistaken, I heard.
Yeah, it's going to be Max.
How many Greeny Bucks?
25.
Ooh, I was expecting more. I was expecting the lunacy to begin.
No. It's. I don't want to end with 0, and I don't want to end with like $5 bets. because that would also be like really counterproductive. So it's tough. It's tough when you're down this bad, but I'm expecting a Max win in this category tomorrow. At least I'll be able to double my greenie bucks. Your turn, sir. Same question.
20 greenie bucks, Max.
All right, so we both have Max for the biggest gainer. He's starting all the way in the back at 20th. Should not be an issue gaining even up to 15 to 17 spots. So who's going to win tomorrow? Question. Cheese.
I'm going first.
All right.
I was asking you.
Oh, I'll go first. That's fine. I went first with the gainer, so I'll go first with this as well. Back to back and belly to belly. Lando Norris. I think we talked about it in our halftime show. If anyone missed it, take a look back there. We did it on during 24-hour Le Mans. So take a look at that. That was our halftime special. And I said, expect some big things from McLaren. I said 2.5 wins over with no wins on the board, 2.5 wins. And I think they're going to put number 2 on the board here tomorrow. So I'm going to go with Lando. Give me 30 for Lando.
Expected a little bit more insanity yet again from that, but I am also going to take Lando. It's going to be back-to-back for McLaren. It's going to be hard to pass with the arrow and everything with trying to get past Lando. Lando's good at defending. Showed pretty good race pace over the practice on Friday. So give me Lando, 20 greenie bucks. So we had the same picks again, 1 and 2. Doubting the trifectas will be the same, though.
Well, let's see. Because it looks like we're going to have Lando at first. So who do you got second or third filling out the rest of that podium? You want me to go first? I'm going to go Lando. 1, Lewis 2, and from the back of the pack, Max Verstappen getting on the podium at third. Give me 20 greenie bucks on that. That'll at least pay 10, 20 to 1 on that one. So there it is. Put it in the books. Lando, Lewis, Max Verstappen, 1, 2, 3, 20 greenie bucks. You, sir, lay it on me, big fella.
You son of a gun. I got the exact darn.
No, you don't. No, you don't. All right. I guess it's going to be almost a push week.
I had Carlos, and I crossed it out and put Max because Max is going to drive like a loon tomorrow. He's got the championship to consider, so they're going to pull some strategy. Yeah. God darn it.
All right.
God darn it. God darn it. I crossed out Carlos.
You want to make any changes, sir?
No, I'm not making any changes. I wrote it down. I crossed them out, and I ain't crossing them back out and put it right in the back end. You get one cross out.
I would say great minds think alike, but I don't want to embarrass you. So, all right.
Well, darn. How the frack? I expected you to come with something ridiculous.
That's not too ridiculous. It's not bad because you're going to get numbers there. You're going to get like 10 or 20 to 1. I'll win anywhere from 2 to 400 on that bet, on a $20 bet. So, that's good. That's like a good number.
Well, it's also a safe play.
It's safe.
It's a safe play.
I need the safe play.
Because history, we've seen it before. Lewis or Max starting at the back, and they just charge all the way through the field because their cars are a lot more superior than a lot of cars in the field.
Yeah, but I mean, look at Danny and Monza. I mean, nobody saw that coming, really, and it happened.
I did. I told you it was gonna. I said it.
You said it was gonna happen. We replayed it. We replayed it last show.
So that wasn't shocking to me.
All right. Well, if you want to listen to more of Greeny and the Cheese in the Paddock F1, you're going to tune in Next episode number 30, Russian Grand Prix, 2021. So hit that up. You should hit Cheese up on Instagram. Cheese in the Paddock. Give this man some followers. And
wait a minute, wasn't there a mailbag?
I did have the mailbag. I did have the mailbag. I actually do have the mailbag questions.
You said next episode.
I said next episode. All right.
How can you end before the mailbag? And that is a crappy name for it. You better come up with something better than that.
Should we wait?
Like box or something.
I sorted through. I ended up with 3.
You said next episode we are end with the mailbag or name to come future for that, because that is a trash name. Mailbag. Gotta come up with something better than that.
All right, we'll come up with something better than that. Let me at least read one on the air, and then we'll say goodnight. We'll retool. We'll come back, because you guys all out there, all over the world that are listening, deserve better. So
better give more than one.
All right.
3.
All right. 3? All right, I'll do 3 emails that we received. And again, thank you so much. inthepaddock@gmail.com. Send us an email. Send us a question. We'd love to read them on the air and answer them and put it on the podcast. So, yeah. First one is the only one that I was even remotely able to read, because it's the only one from the United States. I think most people use Google Translate, so it doesn't come out as they intended. So I have to retranslate to Google Translate to kind of come up with something that makes sense to read here to you, my friend. All right. This is from Nate. Nathan.mr1@gmail.com. From Dallas.
I don't know if you want to read the name out.
Nate
would have been just fine. Not their email address. What the hell's wrong with you? How medicated did you get in that sukkah today?
Nate from Dallas. Cheese. No, this is from me. Cheese is obviously a Ferrari fan. Very perceptive. Who is my favorite F1 team? That's a good question, Nate. Thank you so much. Yeah,
this is what I don't even have an answer to. You've never declared. You have to declare your allegiance live on the air. That is effing fantastic.
I don't think we're live. I think we're pre-recorded. But
whatever. Declare your allegiance here and now, henceforth.
Here and now. I really do love this season, McLaren, and obviously historically, it is a team. But I'm not being forced or pushed into picking anything. I like McLaren this year.
Oh, come on! You gotta have a team to root for.
I mean,
you root for the bloody stinking New York Giants, for Christ's sake.
Well, I do root for the Giants.
You gotta have a team you root for.
Enough pain, at least for the last 5 years.
You have watched Formula One long enough to have a team.
No, I like drivers. I'm into drivers. I'm into the sport. I'm into the parody of the sport. I really appreciate that. Like races like today, this is what I love when you see 6 different teams represented in the top 10.
Oh, I'm a huge Lando Norris fan, but I'm also a Ferrari fan.
You're a Ferrari fan. I pledge no allegiance. It's very, very difficult to do that here.
That is bloody poor.
All right.
That is poor.
Whatever you want to say. Nate, I apologize.
He asked you for a bloody team you root for. You better come up with something for next show. That's it. Next show, you're declaring your allegiance. You have 24 hours, sir. You better think long and hard. I mean, you could be a Williams fan. You're a Giants fan. Why not be a Williams fan? I mean, it's a classic F1 team as well. Come on. Yes. You got to pick something.
2022. Who will win more?
You will have 24 hours to declare your allegiance.
You have 24 hours.
I mean, with rumors having it, I might have 2 F1 teams.
All right.
Because I'm always going to be a Ferrari fan, but if rumors have it and Volkswagen comes in and partners with Red Bull, then I'll have to be a Red Bull fan just because of the Volkswagen operation.
All right.
So,
all right.
You can come up with something. You have 24 hours. And then Nate's question will be answered. He asked you a question you can't answer. That's trash. You asked people that give you questions and you failed. That's trash. You have 24 hours to answer the question appropriately and properly. I want a team that you root for henceforth. That's right, henceforth. I'm bringing in some old English for you. And the reason why. It's almost like a paper I'm giving you. You have 24 hours.
We'll see about that. We'll see about that.
Oh, no. It is going down. Nate, your question will be answered tomorrow. He has 24 hours notice.
All right. Thanks, Nate. Thanks for contributing. And I'll see what I come up with. I got some homework to do. All right. Next question is from...
You will answer that tomorrow.
What's that?
Fact. You will answer that tomorrow. That is a fact. 24-hour clock has started.
I'll answer that. All right. Next question. From I get .de. Is that Germany? I think it's Germany. Deutschland. DE. So I think Sam from Germany. Cheese. Thank you for your show. What the hell? Cheese, thank you for your show. Why do they call you the cheese? From Sam. Sam in Germany. Thank you, Sam.
It is
international.
International. It is a nickname I picked up in college pledging my fraternity. That is where the name comes from.
I think it's also because you're a Green Bay Packer fan.
Well, that would be the case too.
Well, I think that's where it comes from.
True. But I think it does originate in college.
Did you know that Germany produces more cheese than France does?
They produce a lot of cheese in Germany.
They do produce a lot of cheese. All right, the last... I'll give you one more. Because I really only have one more that I can read on the air. So... I think the name is pronounced Jureshi. And I think... I looked this up as well. Because it's like the country code I got to figure out. .mp. I think this is from Nepal, my friend. I think this is from the top of Mount Everest, my friend. I don't know if it's from Mount Everest. But I know we had some listeners in Nepal.
I don't think there's reception at the top of Mount Everest.
I know we had, so I think this is from one of our Nepalese listeners. Love your show. Thank you. I think it's both of us this time. Because Sam only thinks it's your show. Why do you never say what Greenie Bucks winner gets? That's interesting. I think because I went down early and I try to just ignore.
That sounds about right.
That there might actually be something besides pride to take at the end of this contest.
Yeah, I don't know if we even discussed just pride and bragging rights. I don't know if I don't know. What do you get? A trophy?
I think it's a little rough now, this late in the game, to obviously punish me. Most likely, I'm still confident I can come back.
You have no chance.
You gotta have to give me a spread if we're gonna have to go for anything, though. I think.
I mean, you keep hoping to pick up, but we keep picking the same thing.
Yeah, listen, it happens. It happens. I think, and Dreshi, I think that's how to pronounce it. I apologize if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly. Yeah, well, listen, we'll have to start next season strong. Preseason for our preseason 2022 show for fans like Dreshi that, want to know what's going on, so we'll have to come up with some stipulations, and what those stipulations are, and we're gonna have to follow through and make sure that one of us pays a penalty next year. So, but this year, I think at this point it's a little too tough to start changing the rules. So, bragging rights and pride, and then next year we'll see. Also, a big announcement this week for Greedy and the Cheese fans. January 2022, we got more information to come. But Greenie and the Cheese will be back. The Greenie and the Cheese Sports Extravaganza coming 2022. We're gonna have a name. It's a working title right now. It's gonna be a big deal. So get ready for that. And that's a big announcement.
But this show will still remain.
And please, In the Paddock fans, we're going to be here. We're going to have another show. It's not going to take away from this show. It's just going to make the show better. And it's going to be exciting, fun, guests, just like old school Greenie and the Cheese, like back in the day. So
nobody knows what that is.
We know what it
Unless
is.
you're from the North Jersey Mahwah area.
We did CBS. If anyone listened to that.
We did piss off David Letterman.
We did piss David Letterman off.
So check that box.
Check that box. Getting yelled at.
When you're on your bucket list, pissed off David Letterman.
Yeah, they had to stop the show, but that was not really that was our producer's fault, not really our fault. I didn't turn the music up loud. He did. We were just in the studio at the time.
We got blamed for it.
Yeah. It was pretty funny. That's like the whole hallway was like, it's like full of like the most boring like CBS like audio clips. Like when they make these like 60-minute like audios and stuff like that. It's like, that's where they come from. With the really like dry stuff. And then we show up and the walls are shaking. I mean, that's how we get down. Right. That's how we get down. That's how we're going to get down again. January 2022. If the planet still exists, we will exist. Greenie the Cheese. Say what you got to say, homie.
We will see you tomorrow after the race in Sochi. Should be a good one. And as always, stay medicated, my friends.
Peace.